man of the hour have just sat down. You look like a lion tonight. And I hope you can roar like a lion as well.
You know, actually, I got tired and I says, why don't you just go wash your face or something, because it's been a busy day at work, so I'm kind of drained up early. And so you know what? Forensic is what gets me riled up, because we change people's lives. On this call, I wrapped up to talk about some of the stuff that we've talked about over the years on Forensic, cover some of those power talks, and change some light. Hopefully we shake some people and get them to become a better version of themselves.
Of course, and as soon as you are ready, Mr. CEO, just let me know.
Let's get started.
Awesome. You want to push the record button, or you want me to do it on my end?
Well, go ahead.
Well, thank you for that privilege.
Okay. I'm just getting things ready on.
Recording in progress.
On YouTube.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are around the world. If it's Tuesday night, you are very fortunate, because it's Forensic Night with the man himself. And this is a very young man who has taken his time, and he's given us his time every single week to be here. And he is the visionary, the architect of the company Opulence Global. He has been actually in direct sales for about 27 years. I was very privileged to meet him on my first trip to Canada, and we rocked it together. We had a personal, spiritual moment. I'm sure he'll never forget it, because I can't forget it up to a day like today. And when I met him, I think that in my understanding, in my spirit, I saw him as a Moses for the times. I still see him as a Moses for the times. And that's how much he is a visionary, making things happen. He's a master distributor, so he's a soldier like us. He's always have his boots on and understand the industry of direct sales. And he has also been a champion wrestler, one-on-one combat. So don't mess with him. This is a guy who can take you down, I'm sure. And that's why he's known to be an expert, a compensation plan expert. He has been featured on American Business Journal with big persons like Warren Buffett. He has had first-class inductee into the Network Marketing Hall of Fame. And he has scores of media trade accolades and awards. And also the genesis, the genius behind the Forensic Networker. Actually, he's the Forensic Networker himself. It's my greatest honor and privilege. If you give me more time, I can go on and on. But this is our CEO, our founder, and they say he has a heart of gold, and I believe it, because I've met him myself. Mr. Robin Musgado.
Thank you very much, Arthur. I really appreciate it. Arthur from St. Lucia. Blow up the chat for him. Blow up the chat for Arthur. All right, so we got Zoom and we've got YouTube. As usual, we're going to see which one's got more lively. Last time, YouTube had it going on. But then we've had other times where Zoom is booming. So let's see who's got more energy. Now, I'm tired tonight, but you know what? It's Forensic Night. Let's get rocking. I was thinking about the things we should talk about. And forensic is quite deep, so I thought going back to some of the mantras I've done over the years for forensic and some of the trainings I've done on this call, I thought, you know what, there is so much goodness in there. So tonight, I'm just going to go through some of the power talks over the past, taking a little excerpts from this mantra, from that training, the stuff I've done in the past, and we're just going to dump it all at you and shake you up a little bit, just in case you missed one of those trainings. I see on Zoom, Singapore's here. We got Brisbane, Australia's here. We have Egypt. We got Israel. We got a lot of great stuff going on. Scotland's here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I can't see what's on Zoom. Let me go over here on Zoom. All right. So we have Grenada here. Thailand, very good. Welcome. Our new country, Thailand, welcome. And all right, let's just start. Brisbane, Australia as well again. Let's get going here. So let's go through some of the excerpts of previous, what I call forensic mantra, something I've done for 20 years. Wrote the book, 22 years ago. And some of the stuff I wrote back then is more relevant today than it was when it was written 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. It's more relevant today. So let's just jump in right away. The very first thing and one of the mantras that done a few years ago, basically more than ever because of the inflation that's happening. Now, back then, we always had inflation, but now the inflation is now becoming a hyperinflation. It's accelerated because of what happened last year, government money printing. So one of the mantras said exponential revenue stream is key to riches in the 21st century and beyond. So think about that. We all have a revenue stream. Some people call it a job, some have a business, right? But all of that's fine, although even pre-COVID, those things, a lot of them, did not meet the monetary energy velocity of inflation. So people got poorer and poorer and poorer. They thought they were richer because they lived better, but a lot of those things were borrowed money, right? It was borrowed money. So therefore, and because of money's getting weaker, you think your things are worth more. Really, all it was that the money's getting weaker. So we don't need just a revenue stream. That's just not going to do it. We need we need the revenue stream that can expand exponentially. You can't do that with a job, right? You only have one job. Maybe you have a part-time job, but you can't have exponential job. You can put some in overtime, but it's only 24 hours in a day, right? Because traditional business, it's very difficult to scale that up because you have to open up a second location, the cost that's involved, very difficult to manage multiple businesses, very difficult. Nothing's not possible, but it's very, very difficult to do. Costs a ton of capital to make that happen. So again, it's not an option for the masses, for most people. So the only way to have an exponential revenue stream is through MLM, your opulence global business. Because in a job, if you need more money, you can't just go get a second job. I suppose you can, but it's difficult, right? It's very difficult. But here, you want to make more money, you just go sell some more products today and recruit someone tomorrow. You can do that in the e-commerce business. You can do that in your MLM business. You can do that in your opulence business. You can't do that in traditional business. You can't just go open up another store tomorrow. It takes a long time, a lot of money. It's difficult to keep on expanding, scale up a business. You can't scale up a job. I mean, okay, how many hours in a day, right? You have to still, because have 10 jobs, because you still have to split it within 24 hours in a day. You can't scale up a job. It's very difficult to scale up a traditional business. So they cannot be exponential. But your MLM business is easy. Go recruit 2 more people this month. Recruit 2 more next month. Now you got 4 people in your team. Recruit 2 more the following month. You look at our top people in our company, they're out there recruited 30, 40, 50, 100 people over the years. They scale 100 people, maybe 200 people, and over the years, and then that 100, 200 become 1,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 people in about 200 countries, and they make millions of CV every year, if not some months. That's exponential. That is exponential. So it's really, really important that you understand with the way the inflation is right now, you need an exponential revenue stream. There isn't any options out there. Certainly, we talked about a job traditional business. It's not, so you have to rush into some type of leverage business. Even e-commerce is difficult. You have to be a hell of an e-commerce person. You have to be great skills to be able to scale up an e-commerce business. People are doing it, but it requires a lot of training. It's very difficult. I don't even know how to do it. If you want to build a big Amazon business, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's very difficult to do. And the average person will never have a chance to do that. But you can scale up a business from home. An MLM business certainly can scale up your opulence business. There was a stat the other day. I was looking for something, so I asked my head of my team, Caesar. I said, Caesar, give me the stats. I was absolutely shocked, floored to get the answer. The question was simple. How many people in our company, 16-year history, we've been on 16 years, it's incredible. How many people in our company have had a team of over 1,000 people in the organization? Over 1,000 people in the organization. Even I was shocked at the answer. Blow up the chat group. Tell me, how many people do you think in Opulence Global has a downline or organization of over 1,000 people in their team on both legs, right? Both legs. How many people do you think, how many individuals in Opulence Global do you think has a team of at least 1,000 distributors? Let me see. Put the chat up. Let me take a guess. Take a wild guess. How many people in our company has 1,000 people in a downline? I see. Okay, I've shared this once before, so you guys were paying attention. Yeah, it was 1,043, I believe. 1,043, and I was absolutely shocked. I can guarantee you, if you went to this 1,043 and you ask them, did you think that you're going to have a team of over 1,000 people? I would say 9 out of 10 would say no. 9 out of 10 would say no. That's what we're talking about. That's a scalable business. That's a leverage business. That's exponential. Write in the chat, exponential. That's the business you're in. You have to understand how important these things are. So that's one of the topics that I wanted to talk about tonight. Let's go to another one. There's so many of them here. I'm just going to try to zip through some of them. All right. So short thinking. If you can't stop looking at your back office and your CV, you don't get the bigger purpose of MLM. That's one of the trainings that I did, and I was talking about this. Look at Zoom. Look at YouTube going crazy again. All right. I see Zoom is moving too. That's nice. All right. So MLM is not something that you get in and then you expect money to roll in. It just doesn't work like that, right? It's a business that takes a long time to build. Now, the problem with MLM is there is a possibility that some people will come in and hit it out of the park quickly. I mean, it's a good thing, but what it does is good and bad. It's good that's possible. It's also not so good because it sets the wrong impression for the rest of the workforce. You see, people never say, people talk about the successes, and often people don't talk about what it took to get there, because they think somehow, they want to keep things upbeat. But no, people have to understand it is a business, and it's not about you. And you don't look at your opulence business or MLM business as just a paycheck. It offers so much more than that. So much more than that. And I think the ultimate thing it offers that a job cannot do cannot do. It doesn't matter what type of job it is. It doesn't matter how much it pays you. The MLM gives you something a job cannot do and a traditional business cannot do, and that is freedom. Freedom. You can have a job that pays $1 million a year if you're very smart and you get lucky and you maybe can land one of those jobs. Maybe you can. I just got cut off on Zoom. Let me go back on Zoom, guys. Okay, who do we got here? Who do we have here? We got, I think, we have Chang here from Thailand. Welcome, welcome. We have Israel, we have Egypt, we have Australia. Who else? We got Canada. We have the Islands. We have Grenada, St. Lucia. Very good. We're having a little bit of a problem. We're waiting for Zoom because we have two groups. There we go. I think we got this going here. Okay. Zoom is on. Most of our people are on Zoom. And now we got Zoom going and we have YouTube Live going. There we go. There we go.
I was looking for you under your name. I didn't see it was forensic.
It's all good. We're here. All right. Let's get started. No worries. No member left behind. All right. So short thinking. So basically, if you can't stop looking at your back office and look at your CV, you don't get the bigger purpose of MLM. People say, I get discouraged. Well, why'd you get discouraged? Well, my check isn't going up fast enough. You know what's interesting? I've done this exercise so many times, and it's always such a awakening to the person. So forget about the big numbers, right? Let's assume somebody is making $500 extra per week. Pretty much one cycle, right? Do you have any idea how much money you need in the bank for you to be able to put up that type of return? It's like 1% of your money, right? Just think about that for a minute. You're gonna need, right? If you're like $500, you're gonna need minimum. If it's at 1%, so you're gonna need about $50,000 in cash parked in there. So if it's if it's $500 a week, no, it's more than that. You need about $250,000 in cash to be able to pull in that type, because it's not even at 1%. It's not even at 1%. So when we take a look at monetary energy and monetary velocity, and we see that the inflation is shooting about 15%, right? So you're getting poorer at about 15% a year. So if you're making, let's just say your income brings you, say $3,000 a month as in a job. So you need an extra 15% just to match inflation. So if you're making $3,000 a month, you need $450 just to stay afloat. Extra $450 just to stay afloat and not fall behind inflation. So how are you going to do that? You can do it in MLM. So we're talking in a month. That's like $500 in a month. But what if we're making $500 in a week? Right? That's how you get wealthy. That's how you create wealth. You make $3,000 a month. You put now $2,000 a month, $500 a week. That's about you got additional monetary velocity or energy of 60 or 70%. That's how you don't fall behind, and you create wealth. $500 at a time. Now, we take a look at over the history, last 30 years. The difference between solvency and bankruptcy is about $200 a month. $200. Somebody says that's not a lot of money. Well, no, but if you're short $200 this month, you're short $400 next month, $600 the following month, $800 the following month, and eventually your line of credit is full, your credit cards are full, and you pull the plug, bankruptcy. So the difference between bankruptcy and solvency is $200 a month. Well, to try to make that in a job, you got to put some overtime in. Maybe some people don't have the opportunity to do it. In a business, you don't even have that option because your traditional business does what it does. It's out of your control. I suppose you could put some marketing in it, but that costs money. But that's not that difficult in an MLM business, right? Just go recruit 2 more people. Just go to sell some more bottles. Go sell some shoes. You can do that. See, here you can do that. You don't have that choice in a job. It is what it is. You're not going to be getting a 15% raise in your job. You can't. But you're going to get it here. You can just go recruit 1 more person. Recruit 1 more next month. The following month. Of course, we're not even talking about the residual that come from these recruits, right? We're not even going to talk about residual that come from all these customers. We're just talking you. This one, go out there, recruit someone, extra 5 monetary energy. That's all you need to create wealth. And most people are part-time in MLM because they have a full-time job. And in a full-time job, they don't get this option. So what happens? They fall behind in Canada, in the US, 15% a year. That's the rate of inflation. If you're in some other parts of the world, it's 30%, 40% a year. In other countries, 50% a year. It's crazy what's going on around the world. Look what happened to Turkish currency, Lebanese currency, Nigerian currency. It's bad. So you don't get that option in a job to expand, but you can do that in MLM. Just, you know what I love about this industry is that somebody in Sudan can go earn dollars. What other business allows you to do that? Somebody in Sudan can go get dollars. I maybe first open up Philippines. In every presentation, what they talked a lot about was that, you know, we can make dollars from right here in Manila. They were excited about that. And they should be, because the peso probably has a much higher inflation rate than the dollar. So other countries are excited to get paid in a dollar because the inflation rate of their currency is much worse than the dollar. I'm not saying dollar is good, but it's better than most other currencies. Most other currencies. So you got to see the bigger purpose of MLM. It's not just even about the money. What it brings you is freedom that no job in the world can give you. No traditional business in the world can give you. In jobs, if you're lucky enough and smart enough to get a big job, then it's a lot of work and stress. You know how it is. You know how it is. The people at the top, in the organization, you ever watch the presidents of countries? They come into the office, they're good looking and young. 4 years later, they're gray. And even Obama, he came, he was good looking and young and vibrant. And then he was making fun of himself. He just broke down. That's how much pressure is on you at the top. It's 24/7. It doesn't go anywhere. But so you don't get freedom in the job. You don't get freedom in the traditional business. As you scale up a traditional business, more staff, more inventory, more customers, bigger space, more taxes, bigger problems, right? You cannot scale a traditional business without the extra stress. Not in MLM, I can guarantee you, Renee and Reza, Reza's in Africa right now. Every night he's at the gym. He doesn't think twice about his check. And he's been getting his check week after week for 16 years. He has no more stress when his business was, his business was doing $10,000 a month. His stress level was the same as when his business was doing $100,000 a month in CV. The CV went up by 10 times, but his stress didn't do an X10. Stress remained the same. And when his CV went up from 100,000 to $1 million a month, I guarantee you his stress level didn't go up 10x. His CV went up 10x. With stress level didn't go up 10x. If anything, he was pretty wealthy now, and the stress level was probably gone down. You can't get that in a job. You can't get that in a traditional business. You can't. So if you wake up every night and looking at your back office and looking at your CV and you get discouraged because you're not going fast enough yet, you miss the bigger picture of MLM. MLM is not about a paycheck, although it's part of it, but it's not about a paycheck. You can get a paycheck many ways. Many ways. But you can't get what MLM gives you in any other way, which is freedom. Freedom. The next thing I want to talk about, I did a mantra a few weeks ago, I guess a few months ago. It said, believe or wish. Do you believe you will see MLM success, or do you wish you will see MLM success? Let me repeat. Do you believe you will see MLM success, or do you wish you will see MLM success? This is a very serious question, because one of them is 100% in your control, and one of them is 100% outside your control. So we got to think about this for a minute. When you see that you're going to achieve MLM success, that means you see it in your hands. It's in your hands. But if you wish that you're going to see MLM success, that means you took it out of your hand and you put it in somebody else's hand. Maybe it's upline, God, company, and Matilda, whoever. You already took it out of your hands and put it in some. And you know what? Here's the peculiar part. Most people leave it in someone else's hands. You know how I know that? Because you hear them say something like, yeah, I'm going to try it and see what happens. Try it? I'm going to try it? Translation, that means I'm going to drop it on a few people and hopefully they make me rich. That's the translation of that sentence. You can't try to do anything. What does that even mean, I will try? You either do it or you don't. Either do it or you don't. Right? I'll try to go to the gym. You either do or you don't. Don't try. It's not brain surgery that you're going to try. You go to the gym. Our business is not brain surgery. It's input. You engage 20, 30 people a day. Show them the product, show them the plan. That's it. And you have all those tools to do that. What do you mean I'll try? Can't be half pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not. Get it done. Get it done. So the question you got to ask, the tough questions you got to ask yourself, okay, do I believe that I am going to get MLM success? Or really, am I just wishing that's going to work out for me? And you can keep that answer to yourself, but you got to be honest with yourself. And it's a difficult question. Here's why. If you say, I believe that I'm going to do it, that means you got to do something. You got to learn something. You got to do something, right? Right? If you say, no, I'm going to do it, that means you got to learn something. You got to do something. But it's much easier to kind of, hopefully it works. I'll try. Hopefully it works. That means hopefully someone else will make it happen for us. And that's the whole thing is in the attitude, right? Check up from the neck up. The whole thing is in the attitude. It's not brain surgery, folks. It's just in the attitude. See, I don't question MLM. That's another thing too. I wrote something about this, article about this a little while ago. So I don't question MLM. I'm a believer that e-commerce is the future. So you gotta see, when you believe that this is the future, that's not a chore anymore. You don't see people who believe in something You never hear them say, I'm not motivated. Because motivation has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. If you believe in something, you have no judgment. See, I have no judgment on MLM. When I was building it, I had no judgment on it. How much was my check? I got frustrated, I went through it, but I didn't have no judgment on it. I believe that's the only way for me to get my dreams. I believe that. I knew what I wanted, I couldn't get it anywhere else. I was honest with myself. So I believed that the only way, the only path I have to the life that I want was here. So I didn't judge it. I didn't question it. I just did it. I just did it. So if you believe that it's the future for you, then you're motivated to get it done, and you'll have longevity. That's a good word. Longevity. You last. You last. It's not something you try. See what happens? It's not something you try. So you got to, if you believe this is the future, as I do, who doesn't want to be part of the future? Unless you don't believe it's part of the future, that's a different story. If you don't believe in anything, it's not going to go anywhere. This is no different here. But if you believe, like I did, that this is the only path to the ideal life that you want, why is motivation even a thing? See, I never paid attention to the check amount, right? I never paid attention, although it was always I needed the money because I was full time. But I never paid attention to the check amount. I looked at what was behind that. See, the check amount is a result. It's not a cause. Let me repeat. The check amount, the income you earn, is a result of everything you do. It's not the cause. You got to focus on the cause. See, when I was on the field, I always paid attention to my input. It doesn't matter if I had a record week or record month income. If I had a bad month in my input, input, the forensic terminology for effort. If I had a bad month or bad week or bad day in my input, then I had to get a reset, refresh, and let's go. See, I was expected my MLM business to make money. I was it. I knew it would maybe take 3 to 5 years, whatever it was, but I was expected to make money. Again, up front, I managed expectation. That was a good word, managing expectation. Where I expected to make money, I also expected it to be volatile. What does volatile mean? Volatility. Goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. If you don't expect that, then when your check goes up, right? And when it goes down, it will, because of the peaks and valleys of life, you get discouraged. Because when your mind stretches at that new income, the new high, when it goes down, which it always does, and this might be still good, it may still be good, but you're discouraged now because it was here 2 months ago. So in business, I teach this stuff. In business, we don't, there's peaks and valleys. We don't pay attention of the biggest months. So we don't say, okay, we're here now, I was here before, so my business is bad. No. You look at low over the previous low and high over the previous high. If your previous high was here and this high is here, okay, you have some corrections. But if you're doing this, that's the cycle of success. And you always judge your business over the same period last year. Those are how you assess businesses. So I always expected my MLM business to make money. I also expected it to be volatile. That means it goes ups and downs. Because I already knew that, it never discouraged me. I didn't pay attention to my check because maybe my check was really, really high because the company had a special. I didn't give myself a pat on the shoulder for that unless I worked my buns off. I had to justify to myself why my check was high that month. And this, it's not because a company had a promotion, not because someone else in the team was blowing it out, making it happen. I didn't give myself credit for that. I had to physically be involved in the peak. If I was involved in the peak, it made me feel good. I knew I'm on the input. And I knew as long as I'm on the input, the business will make money and the business will also be volatile. But if I'm not on the input, the business will make less money and will be volatile going downwards. So I focus on the input, what I was doing. I didn't pay attention to the check. You got to have that vision. You got that vision. When you take a look at, for example, some of the biggest companies in the world, Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, you know, all of them came out. You know what they all have in common? They all struggled to get off the ground when they first launched. And some of them lasted decades before they got going. You know, Apple for 30 years couldn't get, nothing Apple did stuck. And a lot of people don't know this. Steve Jobs, as a founder of Apple, he actually got fired from Apple because the company wasn't doing well. He got fired and they brought him back later, and then he picked the company up and made it the world's biggest company. But Apple, it took him about 3 decades to get any traction. Can you have that type of longevity? If this can happen to Apple and Amazon and Facebook and Google, who are we to complain? It takes time. I can tell you though, when those guys were struggling, the input was the focus. Not the paycheck, not the revenue. Input was their focus. So you need to keep you in check. You focus on the input, that's the cause, and the result will directly match your input. Again, sometimes we get a great check, not because of we did something, not because of our input. We get a great check because the company, maybe they have a promotion, maybe somebody joined our team, maybe our plan put somebody on our team, whatever, that made that peak. And we were very quick to collect the cash and thinking we're doing well. We never want to question ourselves because in our head, we have to be able to justify how are we going to connect that check? How are we going to connect that check without feeling guilty about it? So we lie to ourselves. Now, those are the lucky ones who actually get a check. I can tell you, neglect any business, you're not going to make a check. And that happens in MLM too. So these are some of the topics in the past that I brought up. I'm just taking excerpts, by the way, from what I call a forensic mantra for the last 22 years. Very famous. I put these mantras daily. If you go to Forensic Networker Nation on Facebook, follow there. Go to Forensic Networker on Instagram, follow there. And forensicnetworker.com, drop your email. You get the mantras automatically come to you. These are stuff you're going to get every couple of days. Let's talk about the next one. Whether you're going to get out of the situation or not depends on one thing, right? We're talking about being able to evolve, getting better. Do you expect the change to come from inside or outside? So if your situation is not great, if your situation is not what you expect it to be, I always like to focus on the core. Where do you expect the change to come from? Do you expect it to come from the inside, meaning you? Or do you expect some divine intervention to come from outside? See, most people expect the change to come from outside. You know, it's like God, like as if you're the only living thing on the planet. And that God has to listen to you or me and listen to every one of our problems. God has done his job. Give us the ability to achieve. Give us intelligence, brought us the opportunity of MLM, formed the opulence company, got all these great training, got these fantastic uplines, life-changing products. What else do you expect God to do? The change has to come from inside. Inside. Changes are from within the environment. And the sooner you get it, the sooner things will change for you. Because when you get that, they start to realize there's things about you that has to change. And that means evolving. In French, I call that evolving. And when you evolve as from where you are to the next phase of you change your space. Like if I leave this room, I'm in the next room. I evolved. If I stay here, I always stay in this room. So if I don't like this room and I need to make it a better room, I need to get up and go to that next room or different room. So I need to evolve. I can't stay the same, stay here, expect things to change. Your space, your life, your globe, your space is the same way. It's the same way. So where's the change going to come from? The change you're seeking, where is it going to come from? Is it from inside? Is it from outside? So here's a tough part of this conversation. I just wrote this the other day. It was a good attachment to what we've been talking about. I still don't know what I'm going to call it. But for the lack of a better term, I'm going to call you deserve meter. You deserve meter. Do you deserve? What do you deserve? Do you deserve what you got? Do you deserve more? Do you deserve less? You deserve meter. Maybe we'll find a better name, but for now we're gonna call it deserve meter. Come on, blow up the chat. What's going on Zoom? Let me check on Zoom. Sometimes you gotta check up on these people here, make sure they're rocking it here. All right. Zoom, no, I would say, we need the chat groups to get blowing up here. Smash the like, subscribe, put some comments here, share the link right now with someone in your team, a networker. All right, deserve. Who wants to know their deserve meter? I'm going to give you a formula for that. If you deserve to where you are, deserve to more, and how you can get the top. You want to see that? Let me see if you blow up the chat group. All right, Arthur, I think your Zoom is frozen because I don't see a lot of movement on there. And there's a lot of people on that Zoom. So, team, at the end of the day, action is what. Here goes YouTube. Good for you guys. That's why I like YouTube. They're live, living it up. So let's take a look at your deserve meter. Do you deserve to win in MLM checklist? Do you deserve to win in MLM checklist? Well, if you have to break it down, and then we can assess if we deserve it. 50% of that, it was 100%, right? 50% of that is input, engagement, you actually doing something, taking action. That's 50%. Because MLM is more than just you. So it's not all about you. So 50% of success in deserve meter in MLM is engagement, input, smile and dial, call someone, show someone the product or the business. 50% is engagement. 25% is evolving. 25% is evolving. So follow me, put it on the chat, let everyone see it. It's okay. I want to see 20 people write it so people can read it. And as you read it and you pick it up more and more and more. So 50% is engagement. 25% is evolving as a person. That means seeking new information, picking up new information, Did you learn something today that you didn't know yesterday? Do you know more today than you knew yesterday? Or are you the same? I wrote in my book a while ago, when you're fresh, you're ripe. When you're ripe, you rot. When you're fresh, you're ripe. When you're ripe, you're rot. And you stay fresh. Stay fresh constantly. Don't ripe, because the next level after that is rotting. So 50% is engagement, doing something, getting up, doing your MO, get your MO box, smile and dial. 25%, pick up new information. Pick up new information. Evolve. Become more of you today than you were yesterday. And the last 25%, that's 75%. And the last 25%, so first 50%, do something. Second, become better, pick up some information. The third 25% and the last 25% is sharing your new information that you just picked up. Sharing the information. If that's a new product, it's a new comp plan, new promotion, new forensic mantra, share it with everybody. Share the link. Here, go downstairs on YouTube, take that link, send it to a bunch of people in your team or your prospects. It's not complicated. 3 things you got to do. So you want to keep your report card at least 75%. Your passing mark in MLM is not 50. Your passing mark in MLM is 75. If you do less than 75, you're failing. You can't do 50. You could go out there and by yourself and work 18-hour days, and some people will make it. But I think most people will get burnt out because they're not picking any new information and they're not sharing the information. They're just working it as a job. We're about picking up information, sharing information, and action. We have to do all 3. 50% is you knocking the phones. 25% is you pick up new information, become a master of your business and your products. And third, share that information. Duplication, proper duplication. You got to keep your score above 75% to see consistent results. You can work all you want and you could be on these calls, which is great, and you should be. And if your team are not on here, you got to be concerned about that. Or did you tell them to be on this call tonight? Are you going to share this link with a whole bunch of people and tell them not to miss the next call? Remember, tonight you're picking up information. Good for you. That's 25%. You know if you're doing the 50% of the input or not. You know that yourself. But tonight you're getting the 25%. You're doing that right now on Zoom and on YouTube. The other 25% is sharing the information you picked up tonight and on Monday and on Saturday. And when you talk to your upline, and the next time tomorrow, social media on the company, or Police GL or Forensic, those are the information that comes out. So you're seeking information every day, 25%, and you're sharing that information every day, the other 25% plus the 50% input, boom. So if you're doing 75% a day, if you're maintaining 75% minimum on a consistent basis, you're going to get fantastic results. Somebody says, oh, that's tough. Every day? Yeah, but I'm not motivated. What's that got to do with anything? Are you motivated to go to work in the morning? Have a job. How many people are motivated to get up and go to a job? They're not. They just do it. It's not even a thing. We could hate our job. When we get up in the morning, we just go to a job. It's not even a thing. I'm not motivated to go to work. No, you get up and go. It's the flow, right? So if you do that in everything else in your life, why do you think we even have the right to be motivated or not motivated in our own business? So we're motivated to go build someone else's dream in a job, but we're not motivated to build our dreams in a business. Let that sink in for a bit. So we're motivated to build someone else's dream in a job, but we're not motivated to build our dream in our business. How is that even a thing? I got so much stuff over here. So much stuff over here. But you know what? We're not, like we could do this a month. All right, it's 9:59. So why don't we do this, Arthur? We'll take another 5 or 6 minutes, and you know what? If somebody wants to share, put your hand up. You want to come, and I'm going to read some comments on YouTube, and maybe Arthur, you want to read some comments on Zoom. So tell me, what was a breakthrough of this training that you had tonight? What sat with you? What resonated with you? Put it in the chat group and let me read it. And Arthur will read the comments. There's a lot of comments, but what we want to know is that what was it that really resonated with you tonight? What was the awakening? What was the paradigm shift tonight? I'll read the YouTube and Arthur will read Zoom. Get lots of heart. Chris says, motivated to my opulence business, which is the best. Okay. Opulence Global PH. I think that's there's clarity on getting results. Absolutely. What else we got on YouTube? Everyone, I'm here. I'm learning more and more. Thanks for me. You're welcome. Ronan says, great training, CEO. Okay. RG, 50% engagement, 25% evolving, 25% sharing. All right. KM says, I have to believe, not wish. I love that. Absolutely. One is from within, one is from outside, one you got control over, one you don't. Right? Ronan says, do, become, and share. Absolutely. All right, Arthur, what do we got going on Zoom?
Rene is saying it's sad how some people put more effort into their job, making someone else rich and not their own business for their own selves or their own dreams.
Wonderful. Nora has a good point here. Nora says, that's what we talked about earlier. You need to have $100,000 in a bank account to earn $416 a month at 5% annual interest if they even pay 5% interest on your money. Well, there's no such thing as 5% interest, but you know what? Even if that was the case, because I think it's like 1%, even if that was the case, $416 is basically one power cycle here. You can go achieve that tomorrow. Just go recruit somebody tomorrow. There it is. And here's the best part. You do this, you don't need 100,000 to do that. You need a couple of hours of work. You don't need 100,000 to achieve the same result. But here's the thing, when you're with 100,000, you only get that once a month. Here, next day, go recruit somebody else. Do it again. And the next week, do it again. And the following week, do it again. And again, and again. All right.
Amanda says, must be 75% up and not below. I guess she's quoting from what you said earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
And Verlin says, I do have partners saying I'm not making money. And when I ask, what are you doing? She says, there is a silence. So I guess that says a lot right there.
Well, I'll tell you a story. Somebody says, years ago, it goes, I can't recruit anybody. And the answer is, yeah, you're right. You can't recruit anybody. They go to the upline and says, no, you don't understand. I can't recruit anybody. The upline says, no, I heard you the first time. Yeah, you're right. You can't recruit anybody. The downline gets kind of confused by the answer that he's getting. He said, listen, are you hearing me? I can't recruit anybody. And the upline says, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yes, you're right. Go to the beach. You can't recruit anybody. The downline says, are you kidding me? Are you making fun of me? He says, no, I'm not making fun of you. You say you can't recruit anybody. You're right. You can. Pack it in. Go to the beach. You can't recruit anybody. Because if you believe you can't, you can. Pack it in. So here's the thing. When you come to me, don't come to complain. If you're coming for that, if you want to seek information, seek information. But when you come and telling me what you cannot do, there's no point for me to tell you what to do. You just said you can't do it. So that sounds like when Verlin says, I'm not making money. Yeah, you're right. You're not making any money. So, I love the evolving part. Fill yourself and share. That's the thing, Drusilla. Recruit in LA, and we get 250. There you go. That's Amber G. Right? That's a wholesale profit. Plus, if you do a cycle, that's like, 460 right there. What else you got going on, Arthur?
Well, nothing much. But it's interesting. What the person who says I can't, and the person who says I can, they're always right.
That's right.
Same person.
Henry Ford. Absolutely.
Yes.
With that, listen, guys, it was a good night. It's a good night. I was kind of tired before forensic, but you guys riled me up. And because you know what? When I'm talking to you, guess who else I'm talking to? Myself. I need this stuff as much as you do. I need this stuff as much as you do. I need this reminders as much as you do. And it gets me all riled up. So it's good. Tonight, Tuesday is my Reset Refresh night too. It's not just yours, it's mine as well. So with that, everybody, on YouTube and on Zoom, stay forensic and to the billion. And back to you, Arthur.
Well, thank you so much, CEO Ramin. It's always a pleasure to have you grace us with your presence and your experience, your knowledge and wisdom. And we really thank you for it. We are really grateful for it. I don't think we can have a better CEO. And with that being said, I hope that everyone have had a chance to go and vote, because we definitely need to continue to make sure that every single person out there vote. At right now, you're at number 15. I know that we can still climb higher. So if you haven't voted, guys, it's still a very good time to vote and get your people to vote. The Innovation Conference is coming up on the 27th. I hope you guys already have your tickets. And I think Saturday is the second Saturday. I think it's the Night of the Stars. So look forward to that. And that's also coming up. So from me here in the Caribbean, just really want to say thank you very much for being on tonight. It was a pleasure. Thank you again, Ramin, as usual, for your powerful wisdom and delivery in allowing us to understand how important MLM can be to our lives if we take massive action. To the billion, and good morning, good evening, and good night wherever you are around the world.
And stay forensic.
Stay forensic.